You know, our oldest two kids watched Back to the Future, the first one, for the first time a week ago. I was really into those movies. I was really into Indiana Jones. Yeah. Like that's where I felt like we're always on this hunt for this elusive, like trying to get his hat and jacket wherever we were. I was like, let's see if I can find like the Indiana Jones hat. But now you can go to like Disneyland and you can buy like a replica that's kind of identical. Yeah. But back then you couldn't. I'd be like wearing straw hats, like anything. There's these terrible pictures of me wearing sort of like PVC, like terrible shiny
at what age are we
jackets
talking?
Like 9 and 10. And I've got some old like branch that was like my whip. I've got to find some of these pictures
raised
somewhere.
In a cave. Yeah. Where were you?
Where we were. These were lean times, you know, camping in like France and stuff back in the day. But yeah, Indiana Jones was probably the thing I was most sort of obsessed with, and then probably anything with Michael J. Fox for, you know, Teen Wolf and everything for a long time. But I wasn't, the only comic I ever bought was Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I used to buy those, not like week in, week out, but I'd buy a lot of those. I had a good stack of Ghost Riders.
Are you trying to get a job right now? Because Ryan Gosling has told me he wants to play Ghost Rider, so you're up against Gosling. Can you take him out?
I don't know. He's sort of taller than I.
No, you're not.
Is it a physical thing?
You need to be the guy that says, "Yeah."
I don't. Again, it's an Irish thing. My confidence to say I'm not taking Gosling out. He'd be amazing. When Nick Cage did it, didn't he?
He did.
With Ryan's wife, with Eva Mendes.
Right, that's right.
So that could be a whole full circle moment
over here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well,
Big Spirit of Vengeance fan here. The sequel. Yeah. I will say, Edgar's Prayer, I feel like walked or ran so that I'm Just Ken could run.
I like that take. You know, I want to hear Greta's take on that. You know, I want to hear, did she watch Barb and Star? Oh. She is you know, a client at the same agency as me. You know, I'm sure they got a screener to her. Right. You know, I don't know. Yeah, listen, I mean, Edgar was a total sort of himbo. Like, I don't think I'd ever heard the term himbo until some of the stuff came out about my performance in Barb and Star. So, yeah, I think there was some crossover there, maybe.
One of the projects we've never really talked about, and I might be chatting with her soon, which is why I'm thinking about it, is The Fall with Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Did that? I mean, that was a sea change for you. That was the one.
Big time.
Did you have, because again, we've talked, I think, about imposter syndrome, which always comes up with every actor. Mm-hmm. So on the set of that, was there something different working with Gillian? Like, what do you remember about working with her in particular? What struck you about her on that set?
Well, I got so little screen time with her in the first series. I did in the later series, but in the first one I didn't really, because it was very much like her trying to catch me, and we were kept very separate. But I had a real... I had a real sense with that job that, like, this is like nothing I've done before, or even like gone up for, auditioned for, got close to before. And if people believe me in this, it could really change things for me, because it was such a dark world and such a bad, heinous, broken person that I was playing. And I'd only, because maybe of modeling and whatever and stigma by casting director, I had only was going up for like sort of fluffier, boyfriendy type roles, to be honest with you then. So suddenly someone had taken this big risk to put me front and center in a totally different capacity to how I'd been seen before. And I will forever be grateful for that. And Gillian was a big part of that, because Alan Cubitt, who created the show, he very much wanted me. One of the producers did, two of the producers definitely didn't. Nina Gold, who cast it, I think did. And so it was very like balanced of like, do we want this guy or not? It's a bit of a risk. He's probably a little bit too young and nobody really knows him. And do we know he can act? And actually Gillian really, I know this now from lots of different stories. You know, this is Jesus, 12 years ago, sorry. She really fought my corner.
Which is huge. I mean, because she was of a stature, she had a
big
pedigree, and you had a different. You know, you didn't have that resume.
No, exactly, and it needed her voice, and she was a producer on it and everything. And it needed her to say, no, there's something in this guy. So I'm forever thankful to her. and how cool is her career? I mean, she just keeps doing like bigger and better stuff, Gillian. And
She could be like defined by like one thing and then just like coast forever, and
Yeah.
it just keeps.
no, and she still just looks incredible. She just looks better and better, and she just has such poise and grace, and it really does really interesting stuff. And yeah, I love her. I keep in good contact with Gillian. I think she's brilliant.
So we've talked once or twice about 50 Shades.
Yeah.
Do the films, do they bleed into one for you now? Like, can you differentiate one from the other?
They sort of do. Yeah, I mean, I guess they do. 2 and 3 would slip into the same kind of thing because
you were
we
shot
shot,
back to back.
and a different director and everything, and you know.
If you had to summarize the films and take out all the sex in 30 seconds, what's the story of the 50 Shades trilogy?
I don't remember.
Did you ever see them? Did you watch them?
I watched I saw them all. Yeah, I actually had to for like press and stuff, you know, to because obviously they can always change stuff in the edit, and I'm talking about stuff that's no longer in the movie anymore and stuff. So I watched them all like I think I watched them all like by myself in a theater with like a security guard, which is a really incredibly awkward scenario to find yourself in when
to
you're
watch yourself having
simulating
sex.
so much sex.
Well,
Yeah.
just turn to him and be like, "What do you think? How am I doing?"
Yeah, believable, passable. What do you think? Good technique. Yeah, outside of that, yeah, you know, boy meets girl. Boy meets girl. Teaches her some stuff.
Yep.
You know, end up happy.
Yeah, that's how you describe it to the kids. What
It's
Daddy
kind of
made
like when Harry Met Sally kind of vibes over 3 movies.
Yeah, totally. How many times have you seen Madam Web, Dakota's latest?
I haven't seen it yet.
I caught up with her recently. She's still the deadpan delight that just warms my soul.
Yeah, no, she's got a great way of like being in interviews and making everything really funky by like not saying anything or
I feed off of it. It's the
we
best.
love her for it. She's brilliant. I haven't seen her in a while
Was
because
it
I haven't
Telluride
been
when you guys
in
ran into each other way back when?
I've maybe seen her once since Telluride.
Yeah.
But just the strike of it all, and I haven't made it out to LA since, and haven't really been here. And but no, I want to see the film.
So you can't tell me what you're doing next, but you're excited about it.
Very excited about it.
TV, film. Okay, cagey. That means it's really good.
No, listen, I've got a couple of fun things coming up.
Yeah.
That I think for the first time in a long time, I have quite good advanced knowledge of what I'm doing. Like, I think I know what I'm doing I definitely know what I'm doing for the rest of this year.
Yeah.
And I pretty certain know what I'm doing for most of next year, which is nice.
All right, so let's end with the happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questions.
Yes.
Jamie, you ready? Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs. I really don't like cats. I'm super allergic to cats.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to most dogs too, but I have a dog and I'm obsessed with him and I love dogs.
What kind of dog do you have? Tell me about your dog.
I have a black lab. Yeah. He is called Leonard. He was called Seymour for 24 hours, and then Leonard Cohen died in those 24 hours. And I woke up to the news. I'm a huge Leonard Cohen fan, and I was like, Leonard's a great name for a dog. So yeah, he's 7. He's the same age as our. Well, sorry, he's 7. He'll be 8 in September, but our middle one just turned 8. Our middle daughter just turned 8.
Track of
they are
pets and the
they're like
children.
best friends. Yeah, I can't confuse them all. They all sleep in the same bed.
Eat the same food.
Yeah, just throw like dry food at them. But Elva, our middle one, is upset. They're like best friends and they're inseparable, and she loves that they're the same age. But because she just turned 8, they have a few months now where they're not the same age, which doesn't make her happy.
Right.
But he's unbelievable. I love dogs. Yeah, cats I'm so allergic to cats. It clouds my judgment.
It's a medical thing. I get it.
It is.
I became a dog dad in the recent years, and I've become obsessed. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
What do you collect?
I collect. Oh God, this is so gimpy. Ball markers. Like I'm a big golfer.
Oh sure.
Those little ball markers. Every time I play a new golf club, I buy a ball marker. And
wow,
so I have a big
pretty
bag
cool
of them.
dude.
Hey, this guy. Just when you thought this guy couldn't get more cool.
Good thing he's off the market, ladies.
Sorry.
It's the weirdest place you've ever been recognized.
Yesterday, I went to a like a Turkish bathhouse on the Lower East Side.
Sure.
That I'm going to say wasn't fancy.
Sure.
But actually it was great. And you get treated like a piece of meat, and someone threw me on a slab and threw like freezing water in my face, and then rubbed me down with like salt and like whacked me with branches from some kind of unrecognizable tree. And my wife and I were both there just getting thrown around this place. And then I sort of came out, I was a bit bewildered, like sat there, and the guy said like, I'm a big fan of your work. I was like, I feel like I've just been used and abused, and but I'll take the compliment.
Did he specify?
No, maybe he thought I was someone else. I loved you in Oppenheimer.
Exactly.
I don't know.
What's the, not that there's anything annoying about you, but what's the most annoying thing, if I asked your partner, your kids, what's the most annoying thing about Jamie Dornan?
I'm not great at switching off. You know, I'm often quite hyper. I'm not good at, my wife is an only child and is really good with like silence and peace. Yeah. And I'm really bad at giving her that. And actually, and now and again, like we went for a big walk in Central Park yesterday, and I was, sometimes I'm aware, particularly if we haven't, we wanted to go to this place for breakfast, so we hadn't eaten anything yet, hadn't had a coffee, and I felt like I could tell that she just wanted that sort of quiet walk through Central Park, just taking it all in. We'll get somewhere where we'll be caffeinated soon, and it's all going to be fine. And I could tell I had to work really hard.
It's just like quieting is like you want to talk, you want.
I want to sing, and I want to talk about. I become such an old man. Like I want to be like talk about every single building. I'm like, that's interesting. You think that was maybe a church before? I don't know. Like the cornicing of that would kind of maybe tell you that. Like I'm like, right. You know. Yeah, we brought that up recently, and I'm really bad about that in the car. Right. Of like wanting to comment on everything, and Millie just wants to listen to music or just be quiet. It's, you know, when the kids are there, they're creating their own havoc. But her and
you like to fill the
Felicity
space.
Blunt, who's Emily's sister, who's married to Stanley Tucci, like very, very, very good friends of ours. She says Stanley has the same thing, and she actually wants us, Stanley and I, to go on a road trip together so that we can just talk to each other. Exactly. Because we're both like in the car going, "Ooh, that's interesting. I wonder. Ooh, I don't like." What do you think that is? What can we shut up? Just like pass a building or a car or something that you don't need to comment on.
Yeah. Inside voice.
So I have to really restrain myself from just talking and singing and just
singing on the street, just walking and singing.
Oh well, I had a good one yesterday. We were on the subway yesterday, and when the subway goes past, it's so loud that you can really belt out. It's like sprinting. Like often, I play a bit of five-a-side soccer every Tuesday nights back in London, and nowadays people go for a run, for a jog, whatever. You don't sprint that much anymore, but I still get to a little bit, and it always feels like, oh yeah, I remember this, you know. And I feel like you don't get to fully, unless you are a Broadway musical star, singer, or whatever, you don't get to sing really loudly anymore that much. So I take the opportunity as the subway passes. And yesterday I was like, we went to see Merrily We Roll Along the other night. Yeah. And the subway went past. It was so loud, and I was like, Merrily We Go. I was like, really went for it. And I was like, I said to my wife, I was like, the train went past, and I was like, isn't that great? Like you can just do that, like, and no one hears you. And she was like, I can hear you. Yeah.
It's like everyone here is staring at you.
No, it was a quiet platform. We sort of had it to ourselves. But,
oh my God. Yeah. All right. Wrapping up, I promise. Worst note a director has ever given you? Anything jump out?
It's when you have many times. I actually don't hate it, but sometimes it feels a bit lazy, but maybe sometimes it's good. It's just to do it faster. Yeah. Like sometimes particularly in TV. Yeah. Like guys, it's literally a time thing. It's like we are running. We've got to do a faster take. Yeah. I worked with a director once who would remain nameless, but my co-star had worked with him before, and she was like the only note he gives is to go faster. And I was like, that couldn't be true. And anyway, I did like a good 7 weeks with him or something, and all he ever said was to go faster. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, it really does. Yeah, that is his only note.
In the spirit of happy, sad, confused, an actor that makes you happy?
Cillian Murphy,
of course. Good time, Gillian. Movie that makes you sad?
Philadelphia. It's a heartbreaker for me every time. No matter, I must have seen that movie 70 times.
Great one. Food that makes you confused?
Confused. confused.
I don't get it. You see it on the menu, you're like, well, why do people eat this? Why?
Flatbread.
Flatbread.
As a meal, I feel like
With
if
a
it's
little,
out on the
like, hummus or
table and
something,
like
and
for
you're like-
snacks and stuff, sure, like as a snack. But
Yeah.
when people have it like as a main course and they just have flatbread and then it's hidden underneath a load of sort of gunk on top, I find that quite strange.
Yeah, I find it annoying when it's like flatbread topped with cheese and tomato. You're like, oh, that's called pizza.
Yeah,
Let's-
right,
let's just-
exactly.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Buddy, it's always good to see you. It's even better to see you in the flesh. Congratulations on the Tourist. I'm happy that the U.S. audiences are now getting a chance to enjoy this wild ride. Check it out. 2 seasons. They're very bingeable in the best possible way. Enjoy the work of Mr. Jamie Dornan. Thanks for coming, man.
Cheers, Josh. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was good fun.